palpable disdain between the two of them each and every time they're together. It's incredibly entertaining. He is our friend and yours, Kyle Draper. Good morning, Kyle.
Fellas, what is happening? What is happening? It's a beautiful day out right now.
Right now?
Now.
Yeah, it's going to be like raining for the next 7 weeks.
Exactly. I'm trying to take advantage. See, man, that's the problem, Dave. You're my guy, but you're too negative, man. You're too, it's
negative, Dave.
Dude, enjoy this day, enjoy what we have today.
I mean, hold on. Wait, I'm pulling up a clip right now. Hold on. Wait, is this Kyle? This is Kyle yelling at the entire audience after a Kings loss. That's why you're my guy, man. I feel your pain and you feel mine. How much fun do you having with it? We had Kenny Thomas on. We have him on every week, and we were joking about your guys' back and forth. And obviously, you have to have chemistry to be able to do that. You have to have a little bit of trust to be able to do that. But it's fun to watch. You guys are like an old married couple. And I mean that. I mean that in the nicest way. How much fun is it working together?
No, it is fun. It is fun. And it took some time to develop that chemistry. But, you guys know how it is. When you're on there, it's never personal.
No.
It's just two guys giving each other crap, giving each other mess. And, I'm a big believer, especially with these pre- and post-game shows. I like to inform, but, at the end of the day, it's entertainment, right? And, that's why TNT's inside the NBA. We really don't tune in to hear their basketball knowledge. Let's be honest. We're not watching to see Charles Barkley break down the 2-3 zone or, somebody's game. Those guys are entertaining. So that's what I try to do with Kenny, and we're in a good groove right now.
Well, and Kyle, tonight you have a different role in the call of the Kings and the Clippers. Last Friday was an all-timer. I don't know how tonight's going to go. We know the Clippers are a bit desperate for this one. Fox should be giving it a go. What are your expectations, at least leading into tonight's game?
I think this is going to be a tough battle, tough contest. First of all, we know the Kings struggles when they face a team on the second night of a back-to-back. I mean, it just seems like we let our guards down. And the Clippers are a wounded animal right now. They desperately are in need of a win. Just think about it, guys. Last week at this time, they were the 4 seed in the Western Conference. And so they're reeling right now. You guys mentioned Ty Lue, in his post-game comments. And I think we'll see a fiery Clippers team. With that being said, our guys are playing with supreme confidence right now, a supreme chip on their shoulders. And so I expect another thriller. I'm not predicting 176, 175, but this should be a playoff atmosphere at Golden One tonight.
So knowing that and knowing how that last game went, after you get off the phone with us, are you going to be mainlining like herbal tea, throat lozenges? Are you going to be? I would, honest to God, love to see. Could you imagine Kyle or anyone in that position hooked up to one of the blood pressure monitors?
Oh, that'd be fascinating to see. Yeah,
have on the bottom right of the screen. I mean, you got to, just like players, you got to prepare for tonight mentally and physically.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to prepare for a great game, a great atmosphere. And trust me, I'll be having my herbal tea and getting the voice ready and making sure the pipes are ready to go. It's funny because I was listening to you guys replay G-Man's calls from last week, and it gave me chills, man, and just reliving that and hearing G-Man on the call. So I'm hoping for another epic one tonight.
Kyle, looking at this team kind of big picture where they are now, they're in really good position to break that drought. But, if you look at other things, what people will say when you start to look at maybe what's not going as well, they'll point to the defense. But, we're this far in, and no one's trying to convince anybody that this is great defense, but their numbers get better as the game goes along. I feel like they get the timely stops. We just talked to Kevin Huerter, and he talked about how the defense late in the fourth quarter of that game turned it around. What do you think about this team's defense, and will it be good enough for them to kind of have any punching power in the postseason?
Yeah, I think so. When you look at it, I think the numbers, don't always tell the full story, because we've seen the Kings play defense when they need to. And I think it was at least a few games ago, they were eighth in fourth quarter defensive rating. So when the game matters most, they're able to clamp down and get stops. With that being said, when you look at this Clippers team that we're facing tonight, they used to be a great defensive team. Since the trade and the defense has really fallen off. And I think if any team tries to outscore the Kings and get into a shootout with the Kings, then, they're in for a rude awakening. And so I just think, this team, depending on the matchup, I used to think this Clippers team would be a tough matchup, but I'm not afraid of the Clippers anymore. Memphis, if we got Steven Adams back, could be a tough out. But, I think the Kings match up with pretty much everybody, in terms of offense. And you don't want to get into a high-scoring shootout with this squad.
Can the Kings make noise with that offense, or ultimately is that defense in the playoffs the Achilles heel as we get closer? What's your overall feeling on that?
Yeah, I think, if they are going to get bounced in the playoffs, we're going to look back at defense. I don't think we'll look back at them not being able to make shots or not being able to score enough points. I think, if you allow a team, to shoot 60+% from the field, to knock down 23s, even though the Clippers did that last week, when we played them, I just think, we've seen it before when teams come in the Golden One Center. They get confident, they start feeling good, they start knocking down some shots. And if that happens, you're liable to be beaten by anybody. We've seen it, whether it's Charlotte or Washington or the Lakers or even a shorthanded Sixers team. And so I would love to see fourth quarter defense at some point in the first quarter, so that, you don't have to grind it out and you can start feeling good and play with the lead. And if the Kings have a lead, I just think it's going to be hard for teams to come back against them.
Kyle, in your time here, you've seen a good chunk of Darren Fox's career. He was a good player, certainly when you got here, but he's different now. I mean, just completely different. Thought of league-wide, certainly here. What are you seeing from Darren? You talked earlier about team confidence. I don't know that there's a more confident player than Darren Foxs right now, but what do you see now from Darren?
I think he's being empowered not only by his teammates, but the coaching staff as well. And, basketball is an interesting sport, guys, because I think confidence is so huge. And a lot of guys have confidence in the NBA. But when night in and night out, you step on the floor, you're the best player out there, or you can get any shot you want. And we've seen players, whether it's Tatum or Devin Booker or whoever it may be, Donovan Mitchell, when they get that confidence and that Superman kind of belief in themselves, it's hard to turn that off. And so right now what you're seeing is De'Aaron Fox has no doubts when it comes to his game, whether it's shooting the ball, shooting free throws. There is zero doubt that he's, if not the best player, one of the best players out there on the floor at any given time. And I think that's just, he's been empowered by Mike Brown, the coaches, and also his teammates.
You're not that far removed, as we're talking to Kyle Draper, voice of the Kings, right here on Sactown Sports. You're not that far removed from Boston and the Celtics, and you were there during that resurgence and really the beginnings of what they are now. I know there's differences, obviously, but are there any similarities in what you saw in Boston and what you're seeing here in Sacramento?
I will say, when you look at it, a young core, whether it's Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum, we have a young core. I still consider Domantas Sabonis young, 26 years of age. He still has several years of great basketball ahead of him. I think you have a coaching staff that empowers its players, that listens to its players. Don't underestimate that, guys. When a player has a coach that they not only, believe in, but also trust, and that's what we have with the players and Mike Brown, you can do some great things. And so, I think one thing that Boston team needed is seasoning, some heartbreak, which they went through, and now you see them right now. And so I think the Kings are sort of in that early stage. But I will say with that Boston team, they did not get used to success. Like, they didn't get satisfied and get fat and happy with reaching the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, those guys put in the work and grinded every single day. And you're seeing that from the Kings this season. I'm excited to see how it translates the rest of this season, the playoffs, off season. And then you come back next year and we're talking 3 seed. Why not 1 or 2, And so right from the jump. And so I think that's where the Kings, are sort of, trending on that similar path as Boston. Sure, we need to, I think, still add another piece to get to that level, because, those two guys in Boston are pretty much unstoppable, and our Kings guys are getting there. But I see some of the similarities.
Kyle, yesterday, Mike Brown named Western Conference Coach of the Month. Well-deserved, incredible job he's done, the entire staff. You kind of referenced him and them and the empowerment that they've given the players. just seeing him now full season here in Sacramento, and you get to talk to him all the time and know him. What do you think his role has been in this team's success?
I just think, this drive for excellence, drive for perfection that Mike Brown is instilling in this team. I was worried about Mike Brown earlier this season, guys, I'll be honest, because they practice a lot. Like, he works those guys a lot. And I'm like, man, we can't sustain this. The guys are going to get burnt out. But sure enough, when the players buy in and then you have success, and so I give Mike Brown a lot of credit, but I also give these players a lot of credit because they want to be coached. They want to be pushed. There hasn't been any pushback about the number of practices and the hard work that they have to put in. And so I just think it's sometimes in life and in the NBA, it's like a perfect storm all at once where, the coach, the players, the organization, everybody is in sync and in line at just the right time. And that's what we have with this Sacramento Kings team.
What's going on with the dog?
No, I'm out walking.
Okay.
And somebody's dog is. And then I got two dogs about to pass me, so it might get a little rowdy out here. Just so you know.
Last thing for you, we do a thing before games called 3 in the Key, where we try to make different predictions. One of those is random thing. It could be, I think mine was Davion Mitchell will have 10 points, or it could be Alex Len will play 5 minutes or more. Give us off top of your head, which is always how we play it. Give us could be anything, Kyle, a random prediction for tonight.
A random prediction for tonight. How about Domantas Sabonis will finish the game 3 fouls or less?
Oh, that's actually really good.
I was wondering. I thought God was going to be like, Domantas Sabonis will have a double-double. No, that's 3 or less. That's really good.
We're putting that down. That's big time.
Hey, and if that happens, mark down the win too while we're at it.
Yeah.
You know what? We're going to recap on Monday, and if you nail that, you will. I'll just say this right now: you automatically win the prize, which is it's a handful of Mountain Treks trail mix that I got from Sam's Club right here, and we will mail it to you.
Great. All right. Hopefully I get that.
Take care. I apologize in advance for Katie, and tell her hello. We'll have a wonderful weekend.
All right, guys. See you soon.
Thank you. That's a heck of a bold call right there.
I actually really like